race car, and we'll see a start in the Bob Jane T-Mart NASCAR 200 at Calder Park Thunderdome. On the inside is the pole sitter George Elliott. On the outside is Charlie O'Brien, ready for a start. Green flag, and they're racing. O'Brien, a good start on the outside, but Elliott, I think, has got him covered as they go into the first corner. And he does so. So Elliott from O'Brien. Brad Jones, a lightning start. Coming through the field.
Elliott already showing smoke from the side of the car. One would have to wonder if it was a legacy of his incident in qualifying today.
Walter Giles in third position, Adam Pay in fourth. And coming down the outside of Charlie O'Brien is Walter Giles, and backs in behind him again. We're riding with Giles in third position. Down the inside is Kim Jane in the 27 car. Again, Giles has a crack at O'Brien. Again, he can't quite do it and backs off. Meantime, in the lead, George Elliott moves away. Look how close Giles is to O'Brien.
He's got the run at the inside, yes.
Yeah.
He's got the run on the inside down the back straight. He should take it. Yeah, Charlie has got no option but to fall in behind him.
NASCAR Star Search winner Adam Pay back again. One of his few appearances this year in the double 4 car, and he's on the pace at the moment.
What is George Elliott in the lead? Not stretching it, however. Just a small handy gap on Walter Giles.
No, I don't see the smoke. It seems to have disappeared.
It's George's car. Elliott currently lying 8th in the series. His best result so far, a 4th at Adelaide International Raceway. The thunder from these cars, we called it the Night of Thunder, and it really is. You just listen to it roar. It's beautiful. This is from the back of Brad Jones' car. Jones currently lying back in the field in 7th position. Thomas coming right up behind him in the Palm Royal car from Cairns.
Jimmy Richards is starting to work Thomas and look down the inside of him too. He's showing a little bit of intent to move forward. He's having another look.
Here he comes. It's Richards in the yellow car.
Thomas is very strong engine though.
It's interesting this afternoon. I thought the engine sounded strange, very thick, as the qualifying with the practice was going on, excuse me, and only to discover that the car had dropped the cylinder at that stage, but they've got the problem fixed.
Walter Giles now starts to move up into the back.
Richards has found his way underneath Thomas. But I don't know if it's enough. I think it'll be enough to hold it down the back straight.
The Texcrete signage on Giles' car, I just think, is absolutely enormous. It really does look to go, doesn't it? Very well presented motor vehicle.
Yes, yes, it is. It's novel, it's different, and it really looks good. Mind you, it'd be a dreadful thing to have to repair.
Well, here's hoping.
No, he is.
Patchwork quilt.
Adam Payne in third. Behind him comes Kim Jane. Then comes Charlie O'Brien. Jane reckons his chassis is starting to get really tired on the big Thunderdome. He says it's great for the short tracks like Adelaide, and it's okay on the road races, but up here on the Thunderdome, he says it walks every which way. George Elliott, the race leader in car 55, right in front of you now. Walter Giles having a tentative look down the inside. Look at the power going into that corner from Elliott. And Kim Jane now, look at him, right up onto the back of Giles. Adam Pay, sensible at this time of the race, given the lack of his race experience this year at least, backing off just a little bit, giving himself a little bit of room for manoeuvrability. It's awesome stuff running this close at this sort of speed round here.
2 cars visiting pit lane at this early stage is the Whiting car number 30 and the 07 car of Tasmania, Alan Raw.
Goes around. Meantime, down the inside comes Walter Giles.
Jones slipped back a couple of spots too. Ian Thomas and Jim Richards have both gone past. As Giles
Here
has a
comes
run
Giles
at him.
now, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the inside.
And he's done it. So on lap 10, 90 laps remaining.
Boy, those 10 laps go quickly.
Kim Jane having a look on the outside of Elliott now. And Adam Pay was in touch with them. So Charlie O'Brien sits right behind them. And then Max Dumsney.
O'Brien's car in yet another colour scheme. Virgin white this time. And now Kim Jane. Thomas is gone. Now hold it down, Thomas. Hold it down. That's it. Don't bring it up. Oh, boom! Oh, dear.
It was a big hit. He had nowhere to go.
That was a big hit from Barry Blake from Western Australia. So Thomas, who already suffers from neck injury.
We've got a fire out there too.
Yeah, it's
an oil fire, I'd say.
Oil fire, yeah, there you go. But underneath the Barry Blake car, you can see Blake moving around inside the car, getting his belts off. That's good news. But I'd like the fire marshals there faster rather than slower. And here they come. Come on, Blake, out of the car. There we go. This Calder Park Thunderdome crash crew really is on the pace.
Well, it appeared as Ian just lost it on the way out of the corner. My first sighting was that the car was just loose and sliding. Taken the hit, of course, in the right-hand side, and these NASCARs are left-hand drive cars.
Yeah, nonetheless, it was a big hit.
It was a big hit, but Ian's on the other side of the kid's on the left-hand side of the car.
Fortunately, also, it was on the axle, which means that the fulcrum would move the car around,
yes,
so that you're not actually taking impact being absorbed, but rather being pushed away.
Yes.
Let's have another look at the incident. Alan, you call us through it.
Well,
Thomas had his own accident, didn't he? There was no one else.
Jim was terribly close behind. I wonder if they've red flagged the race too.
Yes.
But I wonder, did Jim just touch him? Jim was attempting,
but
obviously.
Look at Blake now, and he was left with nowhere to go whatsoever.
Nowhere to go. Everything locked up.
And
bang.
Just straight in. And that was from 180, 190 kilometres an hour, maybe. To
more than that, I would think. Yeah. Oh, by the time it slowed down.
He was washing it off a little bit,
yeah,
so in fact,
right.
call it under 200 kilometres an hour.
Yes.
But that's still a mighty impact head-on.
There's another shot. He's already sideways there.
So there's Tomo, backwards. Then, at this point, the car just works its way back up onto the track. Barry Graham finds his way through, but Blake, with nowhere to go, is straight into it.
Faulkner across the infield there.
Yeah. Just goes to show the reflexes you really do need, doesn't it, to be able the impact occurs itself.
Just do your best, exactly, yes.
Yeah. What we have at the moment is that Blake is okay, but being worked on, obviously, cautiously by the medicos. And let's have one more look as Gerald McDornan joins the fray at what occurred. So there goes Thomas across the grass. And then this is where it all went wrong.
Yes.
The car came back up on the track, then bang!
Barry
Blake
had them all locked up.
And at the accident scene is Gerald McDornan.
Anything, he wanted to modify the car, the handling of the car, and he wasn't running all that well at the front. He would have been changing something, maybe the stagger on the car or one of the adjustments, because
in fact somebody's actually gone into the motor car, as we can see here on the screen. So maybe ignition problem or whatever, we're not to know. But he can legally do this now, can't he? Pits are open for service.
Oh, yes, there are adjustments inside the car there. There's a number of things that he could be doing there. One's change the ignition box. The other is he could be changing the brake bias. Maybe even it could be he was looking to be working around the steering wheel. Maybe they've got a problem with the radio, the push button. call button, and he could have been working in that area. It's very difficult to tell.
And of course, that's a tough thing if you lose your radio out to an event like this.
Oh, in this sort of racing it is. You must have communication. It's a big disadvantage, but he hasn't lost anything there. Pace car's still got its lights on, and there's Bradley's car coming out of the pits onto the back straight there now. He'll catch up to the tail of the field, and the pace car's still on, so he's got plenty of time.
Andrew Mydecki now on pit lane, also taking advantage of this, and we'll go straight down to Gerald McDonald on pit road.
Well, you always figure the new one's going to be better than the old one.
Well, he brought it out last Sunday, and he reckons he was half a second a lap faster in the new car than he'd ever been in the old, so
Yes.
that gave him enough heart to give it a go.
Yes, certainly. There he is, hooking onto the back there. That's Andrew Mydecki's car in front, but the pace car is off, waiting for a green. There's a green flag.
And the race restarts again with Walter Giles in the lead. Through comes Kim Jane into second position alongside George Elliott. Elliott retakes second. Up onto the back straight.
Richards now starting to move in the number 1 car, and he's running in the moment at about 6th spot.
Wayne and Charlie O'Brien side by side, but look at the race for the lead. George Elliott takes the lower line and comes up alongside Walter Giles. Can't do it, drops back in behind him.
Elliott's probably thought he had earlier, of something rubbing. Appears to have gone away from the car. Let's hope that as he goes into turn 5, look at this.
And he does it. George Elliott back into the lead. Kim Jane comes up into 4th position. Adam Pay in 4th, and Kim Jane in 3rd. The gap back to Charlie O'Brien, with Jim Richards now clawing all over the back of Charlie O'Brien's car.
Kim Jane having a run at Walter Giles up the back. He doesn't quite do it. Strong engines, both those cars.
Here's Jim. That's Richards. Interesting statistic on Richards. He's the only NASCAR driver ever to have won on every NASCAR track in Australia, including Oran Park.
Interesting statistic, isn't it?
It certainly is. Just goes to show the versatility and the skill and virtuosity of this man. He is a real racer. Now Kim Jane starts to throw out the challenge on Walter Giles for 2nd position. Adam Pay, very calm, very relaxed, very inexperienced compared to some of the people in the field, just working the car very well in 4th position. This field starts to bunch. Charlie O'Brien now moving up onto the back of Adam Pay, and Jim Richards, of course, up onto the back of Charlie O'Brien. To get through, just simply letting Walter Giles know that he's there.
No sense for heroics at this early part of the race.
No, but even so, the cars are running at 28s, 28.4, 28.5s, mid-28s. That's quite quick. Remember that pole position was
here comes Charlie
in the
down
27.
Sorry, Alan. Here comes Charlie looking for a way down the inside of Adam Pay. It looks like he might do it.
Finds it, yes.
Tell you what, that Pay car's got a lot of speed, hasn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a good engine. It pulled away from Charlie there.
Yeah.
Because Jim Richards would have one of the strongest engines here tonight, and he it's not showing it compared to some of the other cars. I think Jim might be just sort of side.
The Giles car looking forward onto the race leader, George Elliott.
And it's a good shot too. You can see the car, Elliott's car, moving around on the bank. Look, you see the car just starting to. There's attitude on the car all the way through. These in side shots, you really don't get a good perspective of how the cars do move around. They look like they're on rails, but that in-car shot, you can clearly see the way George Elliott's car is moving as it goes through the corner.
And O'Brien makes the move on Pay and does it, and brings through with him Jim Richards. Jane moves back behind that activity with Pay. Here comes the first of Valvoline cars, Max Dumsney.
Faulkner's car's not on the pace, is it, this evening? It normally runs up near the
Faulkner,
front.
in fact, has just slowed right down and is heading for the pits.
He has too.
They lost an engine in this car, as they did with their Oz car. They've had a horror week.
Well, everything was starting to look good, you see. I mean, Faulkner was really starting to enjoy it come qualifying this afternoon, and then all of a sudden everything's gone wrong again. There's poor old John.
He's in no hurry to get into the pit either. I think he suspects it's pretty terminal.
He says that ultimately what he wants is a good chassis man to work on the car. He says at the moment the car scares him. And that's a real admission from someone like Faulkner.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Going for the bonnet too. That's not a good sign.
Now, the big race between Charlie O'Brien and Jim Richards. This is the race for 4th position. I'll tell you what, it's also the race for 3rd because Charlie's right up onto the back of Walter Giles. So that's the race for 2nd, in fact, with Faulkner dropping out of the race.
Now, I have a feeling that this race may turn out to be a race between the two cars that are together there, Richards and Charlie O'Brien. Walter Giles and George Elliott often run very well, qualify very well, and run very quickly. But for a number of reasons, I think rarely do they bring the cars home in top positions.
George Elliott, I might say, Alan, is really stung by that remark of yours.
I know.
He had a go at me a little while ago about it. He said, look, really, I am a long-distance runner. It's just the things within the car conspire to stop me from getting there. But as a driver, he feels he's got the ability to go the whole way.
Well, some of the things that have stopped him in the past have been, for example, a broken shaft on a shock absorber. I mean, nobody's got any control over things like that. There have been lots of other breakages of that type.
Here comes Jim down the inside of Charlie O'Brien. Took a low line, picked up a lot of the kitty litter that was left there by the Barry Blake accident.
Oh, so smooth.
And goes through.
Blows past him, yeah.
It was a natural act, wasn't it?
He's also got the natural just about there. Now, see the way his car just starts to drift up the bank as Jim puts all the pressure on him. Yeah.
Yes.
Pulls
down to your left now. Just look at the left. Coming down through there should be the sign of Jimmy Richards coming through, but no, Giles is, and Giles is gone. Straight into the wall.
Taking Jim with him.
Yeah, he's turned down on Jim, and Jim's tapped him. He's turned down on Jim, and Jim's made contact with him in the side, and they've both gone up and out.
And I think it's probably just as well that we don't have a microphone inside the Walter Giles car.
Yes.
Because if you can lip read, I think probably he gave you a reasonable expression of how he feels about the incident.
Not happy. Not at all happy.
He's being asked by the crash crew, is he okay? Put the steering wheel back on the car.
So they can push it away, yes.
So let's have a look at it again. There you go.
Yeah, Jim thought he was down the inside. Walter thought it was his corner. They'll both think that they were in the right, and the end result is they're both on the wall.
And Adam Page just gets through with it, doesn't he?
Yes.
Boy.
He went the right way.
Only a 10-cent piece of that.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, Jim may not have sustained a whole lot of damage apart from flat to the tyre. We'll look at from the view inside Walter Giles's car.
And we're all hanging out here waiting to see Jim emerge at the front of the bonnet of this car, and instead of that, suddenly the car goes sideways, bang, you can see the hit happening there.
Yeah, Walter certainly turned in as though it was his corner. That was the precise place he turned in, was about where you would turn in under any normal circumstance, but there's Pago past, yeah.
So how would you call that?
I think
to apportion blame.
I would think, okay, you put me on the spot. I would think they both certainly thought they had the right to the corner. Jim thought he was alongside him. Walter obviously thought that he had the right to turn into the corner. If you had to apportion blame, I suppose you'd have to say 55-45 Jim.
So there's Jim going in.
Oh, he was fairly well alongside him, though.
Got the nose alongside, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was fairly well down the inside of him.
And even when the hit occurred, you could see Jim doing his very level best to get out of it.
Yes, but you see, from Giles' point of view, where he's sitting in the car, although Jim has run down the inside of him, there is no way in the world, if Giles thought it wasn't his corner, that he would turn in, because he's odds on to lose out, being the outside car. So it must have been clear in Giles' mind, that situation, to turn down in front of a car like that. You must come second.
In the pits is Gerald McDornan with John Faulkner.
While we're undercut the engines, I mean, it just happens. We don't know what we broke. Well, it's a sad time for John Faulkner. Also, earlier today, I spoke with George Elliott after his qualifying problems. He has a bent differential, so that's going to be interesting. As the car is coming into the pit area, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed, Joe. And indeed, everyone's been into the pits, including Jim Richards, who obviously intends to continue in the motor race. There goes Andrew Ledecky in the Denzel Mead car. I think it's reasonable to say that Denzel's looking to retirement and is testing a few drivers at the moment. Brad Jones belts back out into the motor race, and he's now lying in 6th position. So Jones, again, coming from 0 to hero, is very much on.
Dick Midgley sending him out, hoping that the pace car is going to do another lap, but we know it's not, because the pace car is about to come into the pits, and there's a restart on right now. So Jim is on the same lap still, but we don't know how wounded his car is.
So in the lead at the restart is George Elliott. Behind him comes Charlie O'Brien. Then Adam Pay. And then Max Dumsney.
And I can tell you that the rear right guard is rubbing on Jim Richards' car, and it's not going to hang on like that for very long. It's got quite a lot of smoke coming off it.
Whole different ball game out there from positions 2 backwards at the moment, with Charlie O'Brien now in that spot. Pay in 3rd, Dumsney 4th. They're followed by Perth driver Neville Lance in the Slumber King Ford, and behind that is Barry Graham.
And Dumsney on the charge for a little while there, backed off on Pay. I'm unable to deal with Neville Lance.
Adam Pay, of course, the kid who got in this sport, a farmer from Old Mudgery Station in central New South Wales, won George Elliott's NASCAR competition. That's where he got the car from, and that's where he's been racing ever since.
You've got to say, when you see those 2 Valvoline cars come into contention, though, that they are threatening, aren't they? They really do look so professional, and they're hanging in just about the right spot at the moment to be able to do some damage in the second half of the race. Neville Lance in the Valvoline sandwich. Of course.
Jim Richards is in the pits, just entering the pits.
And coming into the great rate of knots.
So he's gone a lap down.
Should explain to Alan, allowed to come into pit lane on the outside row at any speed.
Yes, it's part of the racetrack officially.
Slow down lanes in between.
Is it as strong as the bricks that it has on it?
Nah, Gerald. I was sort of hoping we'd get to the end of this one. We had a really strong car, and I made one mistake. I decided to back off a little bit to conserve the car, and here I am. I just should have kept running at the pace I was running, and I could have easily led the race, you know, as long as I wanted to. But I thought I'd just try and conserve the car, and that's what you get for it. So my mistake.
Did you cop a nudge? Did you cop a nudge?
Yes, Mr. Richards turned me around. That's racing.
You'll be back, though.
You'll be back? I'll try to be. Thanks, Gerald.
And look at this, as we've been watching the Walter Giles interview, the Slumberkim car of Neville Lance has in fact dealt with the 2 Valvoline vehicles and is moving away.
Yes, that's the best performance we've seen here from Neville. He's running right on the pace. In fact, the 2 Valvoline cars have swapped places too. Dumsney's car is obviously not running as well as Barry Graham's, so Graham has gone past Dumsney as well. But Neville Lance is putting in his best performance at the Thunderdome.
Jim Richards back into the pits for the 3rd time, unfortunately.
Just a couple of little touches of smoke from the inside left-hand wheel of Lance's car as he went into those turns there, Alan.
Actually, an interesting race car. John ex-Junior Johnson Thunderbird out of Ingle Holler, North Carolina, formerly owned by Robin Best, the 2-time Australian NASCAR champion. It's been in the hands of this man for a couple of seasons now, and a very, very interesting racer. Absolutely awesome on the Claremont Speedway in a midget. So he's come up from speed cars to stock cars.
Well, he's certainly running very well here tonight, as is Adam Pay.
People in front of him.
Adam Pay, in the meantime, getting closer and closer to the back bumper of the Chevy Lumina of George Elliott there, up into the 3-4 turn. We'll watch him down the double dog leg here at Calder Park Thunderdome behind Charlie O'Brien.
Your race leader, of course, is O'Brien. Behind him comes Elliott.
Mediki's in the pits again too.
And then comes Pay. And the good news from the hospital is that both drivers involved in that earlier incident are okay. That's official from race headquarters.
That's excellent news.
George is not going to let him get away at all. He's just been sitting there for lap after lap. And the order for those interested on a run through is O'Brien from Elliott, Pay, Lance, Graham, Dumsney, Jones.
We see again Jim Richards receiving more service, and that's the new Chevrolet Monte Carlo, which they tell me is a totally different aerodynamic shape.
It's broken the top off the shock absorber.
There's Andrew Medeki being pushed away, I'd say, by the looks of it. So Andy's first run at the NASCAR Oval. He's driven here once before, many years ago, in an Oz car. Didn't race, simply practiced. Said when Denton...
Tonight too, he's driving very well, and he's got a very strong engine in that car.
So Charlie O'Brien from George Elliott from Adam Pay. And Pay really looking for the way through, isn't he?
Yes, he just wants to settle down. Just settle down and keep it all together.
Here comes Elliott now down the inside of Charlie. Charlie fairly morose about being turned around at the Adelaide International Raceway meeting.
Oh.
And Elliott goes through. Neville Lance now comes up in contention in fourth position.
Well, it'll be interesting if we don't have another caution. We'll certainly see a high-speed ballet in pit lane when they go for their tyre changes. And they'll certainly sort them out.
Is a big move up for him. George finds his way round. 12, Robert Tinworth has been into the wall once this weekend already. And of course did so again at the Adelaide International Raceway 3 weeks ago.
Pay sitting in third spot. Lance now starting to be menaced by Dumsney. The two of those going outside one of the slower vehicles as they go into turn number 3. Just starting to come into shot now, and there's not a lot in it. Barry Graham in the meantime. I should apologise. Not
Max Dumsney.
Not Dumsney is up in that position. Dumsney sitting behind him, one spot back. Brad Jones in the meantime seems to be slowly picking up the pack. Interesting enough too that Kim Jones seems to have dropped off the pace since that restart.
Yes, he came in for some tyres, I thought, which would have put him right back on the business, but not at all. He's obviously not happy with his car. It's not handling.
John's stage in time, the pace is still fair and reasonable. Goes past us now. His previous lap was 29.2676. Let's see what happens. 29.3927. Cut it down to the minors. Jim Richards out there circulating again.
And Neville Lance on the outside. Richards in the way. Graham cuts to the outside.
And that was fairly helpful for Lance. Let him get back on it. Pulling away again to about 4 or 5 car length lead.
Trio. It's Brad Jones starting to lurk up on him now as Barry Graham comes up alongside Lance, takes over. And in doing so takes over 4th position. Now it's Dumsney's turn to see what he can do with it. In the meantime, the ever-present aura of Brad Jones is starting to lurk in Max Dumsney's mirrors. Here he comes.
Jones boys have proved to us all that they're great statisticians and certainly great at putting a show together. I think 5 Oscar crowns bear testimony to that. We have a situation here where maybe they have a game plan. Or 2.
I like the look of their long-term game plan. Down the inside of Max Dumsney. Dumsney sees him coming and blocks the corner. Jones a wider line, which means he can sweep down harder on him in this turn. But Dumsney's a wake-up now, so the element of surprise has gone from Brad Jones's attack.
Pretty
Now he's
impressive.
really going to have to work at it, isn't he?
Pretty impressive the way Brad's car is staying down the bottom of the racetrack. See, he puts it straight in there and it stays right on the bottom of the racetrack all the way around the corner.
Meantime, Neville Lance does exactly the opposite and jumps up high, which now gives, firstly, Max Dumsney an opportunity to get down alongside him, and he'll probably bring Brad Jones through with him, and does so. No, Neville Lance cuts across in front of Brad Jones, then sees him there and backs off out of it. Good chance that Lance had no idea that Jones was that close behind.
Oh, he should have. He should have been watching those mirrors. But I think...
And the interesting thing is that we've got 34 laps to go over the track.
If he's got enough fuel, I'm not sure when he pitted, Ian, but if he's got enough fuel, the tyres should go through. They'll be a little rough at the end, but I'd suspect...
They come in straight after that that stoppage, which was on...
That's right, early in about 15, was it? No?
Yeah.
15. So,
34, I'm getting told. Yeah, 34 from Nigel Greenway, and he wouldn't be wrong.
Certainly not. I think they'll all be looking for a stop. They'll all be looking for another set of tyres to get home.
Gene Cook coming into the pits. The Coleraine truck and trailer car, number 13.
Which one is it?
It's Graham.
It's Barry Graham, yes.
So there you go. There's
Green
the
stop.
first one to break ranks and come in. Graham was lying in 4th position and now drops back immediately to 7th.
29 remaining in the race, so this is interesting. 29 laps.
John Sidney, the owner of the team, behind the pit barrier, directs his lads across.
That looked a tad unscheduled. That wasn't as organised as his crew normally is. The Jack was quite late arriving.
Yeah, well, it's disappearing now. They're going for 4. Yeah, they're going for 4 tyre change.
Oh dear, it's very strange to go for 4 under a green.
Gene Cook in the meantime needing a push start from his crew. Fires up the 13 car. He's away again. The Coleraine Trucks car. Jim Richards, unfortunately, though, the car motionless in the pit bay there. It might be the end of the night, unfortunately, after that incident with Walter Giles, excuse me. Car isn't fired.
Oh dear, that'll be another lap.
So that tough call.
If it was a call and it wasn't something that was forced upon them, it's a very strange manoeuvre.
And it's strange that it hasn't fired. They normally fire very easily with a push, those cars. And now they're in strife because they can't push it any further.
Trying everything. Heads in the side of the cabin. Racing going on the track. Adam Pay.
There goes Pay down the inside of Charlie O'Brien.
Nice little effort.
Yeah.
25 laps remaining.
Charlie's tyres aren't all that good, I think, and George has bolted. George, see the times. The times are indicative of what's happening to the tyres, I think. We've got Elliott, who's leading, doing a 29.5. Pay, who's just gone into second at 29.3. O'Brien at 29.9. Dumsney at 29.2, who's closing up. Jones 29.5. Land very easily on that corner, and Charlie just went up the wall high. So this is certainly a scheduled tyre stop. This could be a green race all the way home now.
Let me tell you, I'm just watching the starters box at the moment, and he's talking intensely to race control. I'll just keep my eye on this.
Barry Graham is there being pushed behind the wall. Look at that. Barry Graham out of the race.
No, that's to start it. If they can restart it, they can come back in.
Charlie O'Brien spent 25 seconds in the pits.
Pretty smart service, John.
Yep. 25.35 if you want to be totally accurate.
Pretty smart service. So O'Brien back into it. Race leader George, and caution on the racetrack.
Oh no.
We have caution on the racetrack.
Why?
Charlie O'Brien will commit mayhem. And
Why?
Gerald McDonald's in the pits.
The reason for the caution.
Graham's out of the car, incidentally, so he's not going to get it restarted.
Well,
maybe a legacy of his adventure into the wall during qualifying today. You'd never know.
Charlie O'Brien lost 1 lap in that incident in stopping.
How do you call? Can't say. All I saw was he was in getting pit service.
Yes.
The red flag's waving vigorously, and
maybe he came in before
well,
the
good
yellow.
luck to him if he did.
Yes, yeah.
Good luck to him if he did.
Otherwise, it'll be a stop-go, I'd imagine.
He's putting a big effort into this year. We see Gene Cook's Coleraine truck and trailer service from the rear down into
They're all coming
pit
in.
lane.
They're all coming into the pits now. This is it. And As the pace car comes past the start-finish line, we look to see if the lights go out.
Be very keen to see
And
the...
they do.
Oh,
So this is on.
gentlemen, take your partners.
Yeah,
Have a
so
look.
there's one lap remaining before the race is restarted, and we've got half the field in the pits.
Dumsney there receiving service in car number 5. The
No, they'll get out okay.
the ex-NASCAR champion, ex-Australian sprint car champion, 3 times winner, I should say, of the Quit Series, and a huge following here tonight.
They'll get out in time to hook up with the pace
There's
car.
George Elliott.
Yeah, Mike Stewart will be giving him
There
plenty.
goes Kim Jane, blasting back out of the pits.
Now, Elliott's gone for 4 tyres as well. Brad Jones up through the gearbox down the bottom. Oh,
Smoking them past Neville Lance.
drag race. And we've got Max Dumsney, the one with the slow service.
Yes, he's not out yet.
No.
Well, it's all for Max to do.
Lance comes out of the pits as well, but he really dropped down off his jack. In fact, the car really slammed down off the jack.
Well, that would be the smartest move on the block. I know the boys would have done it intentionally, but, you know.
Here comes Max Dumsney in car 5.
Oh, we've got a tardy-looking start. There's cars everywhere.
And
How
we're
did
ready
that-
for the start, and it's about to happen.
Oh, it's a bad start. Bad restart.
And Charlie O'Brien with Kim Jane right alongside him.
And of course, Charlie be in desperate mode now, needing to catch 2 laps back, we suspect.
Yeah.
Just check on it.
So O'Brien prepared to race from down there. Remember that O'Brien was so critical of Brad Jones for racing from down on the lap over at Adelaide International Raceway. O'Brien directly blamed Jones for him being turned into the wall.
Well, according to the computer, he's only 1 lap down, so that's quite acceptable for him to be running to get a lap back.
Yep, 16 laps now to go.
The race is wide open.
So 7th position, Charlie O'Brien. 1 lap down.
Kim Jane, the race leader. George Elliott on the move again. He's back up to 3rd place. He's just got past Adam Pay. I suppose it's the teacher past the pupil. Oh,
Bradley's pulled to the inside, just going to drive down straight down the inside of Charlie O'Brien.
and in a gentlemanly way, both guys get on with their business. They're chasing Kim Jane. The 27 Southern Motors car, the race leader, Pontiac.
Oh, there's a great shot.
Major League Stock Car Racing in Australia here at Calder Park Thunderdome. This exciting event. Lap 87 being recorded.
Jones does a 28.22.
Do it again too. He's caught up Charlie very, very quickly.
Here's the race for the lead now. Kim Jane with Brad Jones right behind. Jane has not changed his tyre since lap 34, of course.
And Elliott's just gone past O'Brien. That's the race.
Elliott's car, crew chief by American Mike Stewart. He brings him out each race. Mike knows his stuff.
That's Elliott.
George powered by him up that back straight. Boy, that's a strong engine.
A lot of grunt.
10 laps remaining as they come across the start-finish line this time.
Jim Richards.
Jones sprinting away. Elliott now on the charge after him.
When he goes high.
Richards going for the points, just lurking around, seeing if he can get another 10 laps out of the injured old car, injured new car.
Bradley gets a balk here, and George will pick up a few more car lengths. This will go right down to the wire. George is on a charge. They've both got good, Elliott and
This is really the race to the line. This is the view from the back of Brad Jones's car as we look back to George Elliott. 4 laps remaining now. Elliott closing in. Jones doing everything he can to keep the gap as wide as he possibly can, because it only takes one mistake at this speed and there's a new race leader. Now just look at Elliott closing in on him, and there's a lap car coming up in front. Jones can get a clean run and then leave Elliott to get round. It'll be an advantage to Jones. On the other hand, if Jones gets balked, Elliott's right there. Both of them through, as it turns out.
Elliott got a little bit the worst of the balk, I think. 3 to go. I don't think he can do anything about it now. I think that's the way they'll finish.
Kim Jane will be delighted if he can take that third with what is we're led to believe is a very evil handling motor car. As we see the race leader.
Doesn't look too evil to me at the moment.
No, I've got, yeah.
Brad Jones now takes the low line, then up reasonably high. Look at Elliott closing in on him. 2 laps remain. 4 kilometres around the Calder Park Thunderdome. Can Elliott do it?
Elliott sitting back. Jones goes the high line out the second turn. Elliott gasses it after Jones down the back chute. Lap and a half remaining as the white flag is prepared. They go into turn number 3. Have a look at this. Elliott dives in deep. This is tough stuff. They're off turn number 4 into the main straight away. Jones gasses it. Car number 8 is the leader. The fans are starting to raise their feet. 1 to go.
George Elliott up alongside Bradley Jones.
Oh, he's going to try
there. Lap cars coming up in front of them. They'll just reach them as they get onto the last 2 turns. Elliott backs off.
Oh, he's blown the engine.
He's blown the engine. It's all over. He's blown it. Brad Jones will win it. Now we've got to see whether George Elliott can get to the finish line. Can he coast there in front of Kim Jane? This is the question now. Brad Jones off the hook, comes through, wins the Bob Jane Team Art NASCAR 200. Brad Jones takes his first NASCAR win. Here comes Kim Jane.
Kim passes it.
Elliott gets
Kim
third.
Jane has done it, and Elliott gets third just from Charlie. Well, Charlie O'Brien, of course, threw an Adam Pay right behind him. So George Elliott just hangs on to third position.
Oh, sensational job.
Oh, Brad Jones elated. Everyone happy. Oh, and what a race. Isn't this something else again? Jones, his first ever NASCAR win. He clinches his position in the series with 2 rounds remaining at Surfers Paradise International Raceway on the road track, and then back here in April for the final. But Bradley Jones in the Atlanta Chevrolet Lumina gives his new car a debut win. He gives himself his first win in NASCAR racing, and boy oh boy, losing is not in this man's vocabulary.
And what about Elliott? An excellent drive from Elliott all night, and up the back straight the last time he lost his engine.
What was the
unbelievable?
What was the engine revving at? What was the engine revving at when it went?
Oh, let's think. It'd be very high 7s, up around 8,000 revs, 7, 8, something like that.
So he would have known it, wouldn't he, when it went?
Oh, he'd know it, all right.
Man, yeah.
All you seen was this brilliant flame coming out the exhaust pipe.
Here comes Bradley, and in the pits is Gerald McDornan. To say, really, doesn't
And
it?
of course,
Right down to it.
congratulations to Kim Jane in second place, but our heart's got to go out to poor old George. He was out there giving it 11 tenths, and of course had the noisy thing go down on him down in the back straight, which is...
In first position in the Bob Jane Team Arts NASCAR 200 is Bradley Jones. Second place, Kim Jane. Third place, George L. Cameron. 8th, Cole Robinson. 9th, Robert Tinworth. And rounding out the top 10 for Coleraine Truck and Trailer Parts, Gene Cook. Kim Jane, Charlie O'Brien back in third position, then comes Max Dumsney, and rounding out the top 5 is Jim Richards. Now that puts Brad Jones in the box seat going into the Gold Coast.